Greetings. My name is Mark, and I'm here to share with you how to change your outbound area code using the new Vonage platform that was adopted in early 2018. When to change your area code, whenever you're calling patients in another area code or geography, typically if you're working on another project to cover that project or you've been assigned another project, that's when you want to make this switch. So for example, if I'm calling in Miami and I normally have a phone number with a 305 area code, and now suddenly I'm calling in Dallas, I'm going to need to use an 817 area code because the Dallas people are not going to probably answer the phone very much if I'm using a 305 area code. But if I'm using an 817 in Fort Worth because the client resides there and that's what most of the patients use, then my pickup rate is going to be a lot better. Now, if you have a project, a lot of the projects have multiple area codes within the project. So what you want to pick is the area code that's most commonly associated with patients on your list. Okay, and generally we should have that area code. We don't have every single area code that could appear on your roster, but the common ones we do. So if you have any question about what area code to use, you can always go to your project guidelines and you should see that information on the guidelines. Okay, so again, this is very important. Feel free to test the account on Vonage by calling your cell phone. You should see the area code that's being used once you link it. Once you follow the process that I'm about to do, you might want to test it right after and make sure that indeed that area code is showing up on your phone, because then it'll show up on the patient's phone. And also, very important, easy to forget this, be sure to switch back to your normal number, whatever that number is that you normally use. Not only that area code, but that actual phone number, whatever that you had, you want to switch back to it. If you're not sure what that number is, you can always call your cell before making this change, or oftentimes it'll be on the project guidelines. You'll also see it on the drop-down list. When I go into Vonage, you'll see it there as well. So just make sure you go back to that number. Why is that important? Because that's probably the number associated with your account. And if you want to receive calls on the inbound side, in other words, if you call and someone sees the caller ID and calls back, you want to be able to get that call coming in, because that's going to be probably a survey that you can complete at that point. So enough about that. What number to choose? If you're not sure, contact your project manager, but I would say for the sake of time, if let's say I'm calling, again, using that example of, I'll use a different example, Washington State 509. We've got a lot of 509 numbers. If you're not sure which one to pick, just pick one that has that area code and go for it. If you have any questions about it, you can always contact your project manager, but I don't want you to be delayed worrying about which number to pick. So just pick the number that is related to the area code you're looking for. And just remember, you won't be receiving inbound calls for a number that you're borrowing, because that phone number is on the account because someone else is using it with their extension. And that's probably someone that makes a lot of calls to that phone number. So just keep in mind, you won't get the inbound calls. Someone else will, and they'll tune those out. All right, so let's go through the actual process. I recommend having on your toolbar all of the places you go often related to work. It saves a lot of time. I go to Vonage a lot, so I have it up here, and I can log in here, but I'm going to pretend that I'm a surveyor, and I'm just picking one randomly, and I'm logging in as that individual because I want it to look on this video the way it would look if I were a surveyor. And it's going to come in and it says I've got an active session. I'm not sure why it's saying that, because I don't think I do. All right, so let's see what happens. So now I go to here. I've got a menu, right? So when I first logged in, I can see this new menu on the left, and I want to go to extensions. Okay, and then if I type my name, I'll see that I'm extension 548. And I should be able to log in and see this screen here. And there's a bunch of information. I can see what my phone numbers are that I commonly use. I'm going to scroll down past all of this information that I don't need, and I'm going to go to Outbound Caller ID. And this is where, whoa, what happened here? Okay, I guess I clicked this button by mistake and it hides it. Um, Outbound caller IDs is where I can actually pick the phone number that I want. And all I have to do is scroll down. If I'm looking for, let's use the 509 example, look at all these 509 numbers. I just click the number that I want. But before I do that, I've got to remember that I was using this 503 number, okay, because I want to come back and use that again when I start calling for I'm sorry, not 503, 530 number. I'm going to need that number again, so I want to go back to it later. But this is how you do it. You just click the menu, click on the number that you want. I'm not going to do it because I don't want to do that for this surveyor. But that's all you have to do. And that's basically the process of changing your outbound caller ID. Be sure to do that because that is going to have a huge impact on your productivity. Thank you very much.